single and men stop trying. This is the mouse paradise, a scientific experiment from the 1960s. They made the perfect world for mice with unlimited food, safety, and no predators. In the beginning, they placed 4 females and 4 males and let them multiply. The population exploded, hundreds, then thousands. Then something strange happened. They stopped mating. And within 4 years, they were extinct. But why? According to scientists, the reason was social interaction overload, just like humans on social media today. They were in 24/7 interaction with thousands of others. Too much stimulation, too much competition for social status, and this led them to lose the ability to form bonds, to mate, and raise their young. Many males became so-called the beautiful ones. They lost interest in females. They just groomed themselves all day and withdrew completely because they could not compete in this chaos anymore. And the females followed by losing interest in males. So no mating, and they all just died without having babies. Since 2010 and smartphones, humans are living the same social interaction overload, 24/7 status competition, income and lifestyle comparison with thousands of others, physical looks to impossible standards. And many young people just choose to withdraw. For the first time in history, young people are having less sex than their parents. 30% of men under 30 had no sex for a year. Loneliness epidemic hits us harder than any virus could. You know, the mice couldn't turn this off, but you can. This is why.
All right, Shalom. First of all, I give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Onto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. I believe I discussed this. One of the elder bros, Rapar Moff, was talking about this. And he had make mention of this before. And I make mention of this again. I brought it up when we did a live. This is like a obviously a simulation of a mouse paradise, a city, mice city. You got like a Vice City, you got Mice City here, and what they discovered, and he just mentioned the results of the discovery of social status and so forth, and how it destroyed all of them. You know, and his conclusion is about single mice or single men, how it could destroy them, proving that one, the most important factor of it all is the men, right? So this study, did he say when the study was at? I didn't get to hear that part. I don't know when they did the study. Let me see if somebody's gonna put it in the comment board. No, most likely they won't. But this is an old experiment that they did. So what we see today wasn't by accident. When it boils down to it, these devils, everything is not by accident. Everything just don't come about just like organically, so to speak. Even though I was talking to one of the younger brothers, and he was talking about traffic, like says he heard somebody said that the CIA put people in the highway just to cause traffic. And you know, normally somebody hear that like, that's too much. But in reality, it's nothing far-fetched, because the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, sorry, I don't want to be interrupted. Their job is to infiltrate and also to get people in an emotional status. A prime example, right after Christmas, the holidays and everything like that, I noticed a pattern. I never really noticed it before. That if you got car insurance, right after the holidays, all of a sudden everything goes skyrocket up. And I noticed that when they said that in the local news. In all these years, I'm like, I never really thought about it. But everything is systematically put in place to cause undeniable stress. First, let's talk about the holiday weekend, or the holidays. well, we just had Valentine's Day, right? And Valentine's Day has a demonic beginning state, and it's forcing people. This is a woman's holiday. It forces people to show a woman that they care, which, as long as you're with a woman, every day you could show a person every day that you care. And even if that shows you that this whole thing is so demonic, even if they know that you don't celebrate it, they still want to be a part of social system. Which leads me back to this: individual people cannot think for themselves. They need to be groomed or directed to think. All right, and that's what got the majority of people effed up. When you get into a relationship, it's not you're not getting into a relationship with that one person. You get into a relationship with everybody. What it's not supposed to be. Matter of fact, see, I knew that. You have something queued up. That the spirit just takes you somewhere, but it's okay. I don't mind. It says, let me get this real quick. Matthew's 19:4, and he answered and said unto them, have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And he and said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twine shall be one flesh. So that twine to be one flesh is not everybody included. You have to, when you get with somebody, all right, especially brothers, if you get yourself a woman, that's between you and your woman. As long as you're not breaking the law and you're being a man about the matter, it's nobody else's business. Hey, Apostle Tar always say, he said he don't want to see nobody's woman because that's not nobody's business. But you live in a society where it becomes everybody's business. Let me see if I can remember exactly where this is at. I believe it's Proverbs 31, or is it 30? Slakia. I did not have this in mind. But the spirit just goes like that sometimes. Um, Maybe 30. Proverbs 30. Let's go to 30. Right. It says Proverbs 30 and it's here somewhere. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that's one, but it's not the one I was looking for. Oh, there it is. Proverbs, I started at 18. 30 and 18 says, there be three things which are too wonderful for me, yet four which I have known not. The way of an eagle in the air, the way of a serpent upon a rock, the way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with his maid. So even as great as in all the answers that Solomon has, he cannot explain the chemistry between a man and a woman, a man and his woman. All right, not everybody's concern, everybody's business is between that man and his woman. There's a certain connection that can never be broken. That's why. Oh, I gotta go. Let me go back to this one. No, no. Oh, I was using the other one. Going back to Matthew's real quick, because the Lord said something too. Matthew's 19, is it 6? Right. It says, wherefore there are no more twine, but one flesh. What therefore the Most I have joined together, let not man let not man put asunder. So The reason why Solomon couldn't understand it is because it's a unique relationship between a man and his maid. All right, they may have a sling together, but they may have a certain type of way of saying the L word. They may have a certain way the way they conduct themselves, but it's just the chemistry between them, those two. All right, but what's happening? Esau has infiltrated the relationship between a man and his maid, and has also taught everybody to interfere with that. Okay, so what we live in a society of pleasure, a society that they don't come together for anything. They just disrupt everything. All right. Going back to this Proverbs 30 and 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and saith, I have done no wickedness. So you have in a state where when that bond is broken because a woman give up the goods to another man and she goes out there and acts as if she has done nothing wrong. This behavior is encouraged, and this behavior is ultimately why majority of men completely disconnect to the modern woman. Adultery. Well, they love to use this word. Everybody using this word lately. Um, accountability, right? Everybody loves using that word. But all these things is happening because wickedness is encouraged. All right. Matter of fact, before I go to that, um, wickedness is encouraged. The ways of darkness is encouraged. So when you have a place as a utopia, all right, this utopia or this dystopia in reality, all right, before we even get to the dystopia factor, which is ultimately the technocracy that's going to take place, we already been in the dystopia level, all right, because Esau is allowing certain things to happen within um within relationships. All right. Isaiah 5 and 20, I believe, says, woe unto them that call evil good, good evil, put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Woe unto them that are mighty to drink wine, and that wine is the philosophy of this word. Feminism has completely destroyed everything. This is another fashionable way of what? The devil interfering into those relationships. Hey, Solomon is wise as he said he couldn't explain that chemistry that a man and his woman have together. But Esau loved to explain it because he interferes in it. The film, is it Logan's Run? I believe in Logan Run. It goes in my movies again. But when you watch the movie Logan's Run, nobody nobody is truly together. It's just they take turns. That's that's currently how we living right now. In an adulterous era. All right. When a woman can do whatever she wants to do. And the man just gotta sit there and take it. Well, not anymore. It says, and a man of strong drink mingles and a man of strength mingles strong drink, which justify the wicked. And what has happened is a lot of justification that's been going on with adultery. One of the main justification is unhappiness. Happiness is not concrete. Happiness is just an emotion, which people fail to understand that. So what a woman does, she finds a way to escape that vow because it's encouraged in the society. Sirach 25 and 19. All wickedness but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let a portion of the wick of a sinner fall upon her. So if you cultivate an environment like this, all it does is encouraging bad behavior. All right. When that behavior is protected, all it does is disconnect everyone. And once again, they knew exactly what they were doing. The powers to be knew exactly what they were doing. They knew how to break, because this is what the devil does. He did it. That's the same spirit that was in the garden, and that's the same spirit that's reigning on this world. Matter of fact, I kind of wow. Um, Sirach 28 and 13. I always go through this. It says, "Curse the whisperer and the double tongue, for such have destroyed many that were at peace." So when you go into Genesis, the third chapter, it talks about the serpent, how the serpent went to the weaker vessel, which the weaker vessel is Eve, which is all women. Women are the weaker vessel. All right, point blank, period. They knew that back then, and they knew that they still know it now, but they just don't want to openly say it, right? Because women wants to be men, which is witchcraft. But this is all encouraged behind the powers to be. They know exactly what they were doing. All right. It says, "A backbiting tongue have disquieted many and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities have it pulled down and overthrown the house of great men." A backbiting tongue. Oh yeah, when you go into the word serpent, it goes in depth to, you gotta look it up, to the original word for serpent, which means nakash. The origin word means pretty much a wizard, all right, fortune teller, and so forth. And then when you look in depth into the definition, it gets to whisper, somebody that casts spells. The feminism is a spell. Democracy is a spell. All right. The social structure concept of how modern technology is today is a form of a spell. All right. The dumbing down of the people is a form of a spell. That's all it is. Everybody's in debt into a spell that was put upon them by the powers to be. People participate into things that they're not accustomed to. So there's a war on knowledge. All right, knowledge that majority of people don't have, and the elites know. So their predictive programming, which was that My City, see how it all goes back. That My City was a study, because why? They said a mice mind is like a human mind. So that My City was a experiment, all right, to know exactly how a metropolitan area is established. The city life destroys people. Hey, I live in one of the largest cities in the world. You know how New York is as much as people it has millions of people, it feels lonely. That's not by accident, because that's uh, the city life. Scripture says, "Woe to them that live house to house." Right? This shit is encouraged. So going back to this, it says, "Strong cities have he pulled down," and that's what he did in that My City, "and overthrown the houses of great men. Backbiting tongue have cast out virtuous women, deprived them of their labors." What is the cry? There's no good men. What all this fraudulent cry, because they wanted their way. They want a traditional man with a modern day spin, but they want to be modern, which doesn't work in the long run. This wasn't by accident. We have to understand who these people are, okay? And they knew exactly who to go after. Matter of fact, I keep talking about it, and this was not the intention to talk about women. It just happens. Um, First Timothy's 2 and was it 14? Well, I'll start at 11. Let the women learn in silence with all subjection, meaning under the rule, under who? Under their men. All right. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. So no woman should be any position. This matriarch. Oh wow, I got to do another show on that. Something else that I saw. But this whole matriarch system is. And you notice it only affects the, Judah mainly. Judah, Benjamin, Levi, but mainly Judah. All right. No other nations allow this matriotic system the way that happens, which really destroys the family. It doesn't hold it. It doesn't hold it up. But Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in transgression. So the woman was a weaker vessel. Oh, that's what I was looking for, but it doesn't matter. So she was deceived. All right. And we always gotta blame the same individual. That same individual is whom? Good old, I don't want to say good, but the devil himself, Esau, for allowing these things to happen. Micah 2 and 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. And the iniquity is the plan. All right. They plotted this shit out long ago. They experimented. When you have equal, or when things are done correctly, everybody could prosper. But when you allow shit to fester and you allow things to happen, things can't prosper. That's a spirit. I was just talking to another bro today about that. And the concept is simple. The scripture says two is better than one, right? So, especially in an environment, a time where women got their rights, so to speak, they could work, they could make finances, instead of joining with a man with his finances to make them their lives easier. They rather have the man be the provider and she keeps her money. And if something comes up, she doesn't. She fights him too, which is not worth it. All right. This friction that's between men and women is because of Esau. This great plan that they had many years ago. Okay. Everything is like Apostle Torah said it, and when she's completely correct. Everything is a psyop. Everything's a psyop. Okay. It says, and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it. That's why you have um, child child services, child putting a man in welfare. All right. You got all these things, a system that's created to usurp the man. So the devil came in, all right, and what did the devil do? He disrupted that union. All right. He disrupted that union. A lot of women are waking up to the fact, but a lot of them are too far gone. You got to make yourself available to the Lord by finding a way to get to a man of the Lord. You can't just say, "Oh Lord, you my husband." No, no, no. The Lord ain't hearing that shit. All right, you gotta do right, so the Lord can send you. No, well, I can't really say that because the Lord's not gonna send a man to a woman. The woman is gonna be catered to the man. That's how the Lord created it. All right, I almost slip on my own words, but that's how it's gonna be. Isaiah 4:1 is gonna take full effect. Like I said, I did not. My intentions was not to talk about women, but Spirit just have it that way. But you all fell to the Rothschilds. You all fell to that spell, and you regretting that shit. And this social construct of these cities has really fucked people up. All right, it says because it is in the power of their hand. They covet fields and take them by violence. And the houses they take them away, so they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Hey, the success of this world, and this especially in the Americas, not only is it terrible, all right, not only is it non-productive, it destroys you. You have, if you buy a house, good for you, kudos, right? But you got to save property taxes. If you pay off your property taxes, you miss one payment, they could take your property. You got to put money in to build your own. If you can't build your own, they created a system where they prosper, and the best way they did it is by causing massive division. And they hit the fundamental thing of them all, which was what? The family. They attacked the fucking family because these people are not family oriented. All right, they don't believe in that. They want to diminish. Uh, Proverbs 10, was it 13? So I had him. 15. The rich man's wealth is a strong city, and what they're doing is they're buying out all the lands outside of these major cities. So people flee to those lands. Disaster comes and send your ass right back into these soon to be 15-minute cities. This is his strength. This is where they capitalize from. Your division, your loneliness. All right, your acceptable to anything that comes because of the simple fact you got caught up in their madness. It says the destruction of the poor is their poverty, and this is how they maintain it. This is all a horrible experiment. Living in the city, living in these cave-like apartments, you will understand. This is not living. Even if you have a house, that's still not living. This is all a fucking experiment. This is all they had the agenda to do from the very beginning was to create this rat utopia and watch everybody devour themselves. Hey, even rats, when they can't get enough food, what they end up doing? They devour themselves. All right? They literally devour themselves. And that's what they're banking on when all hell breaks loose. The Purge, Project Clean Slate, which is the Purge, all right? Which is the Purge. So they went from barely having people in the cities. They had space, they had time, they had everything. Then you overly populated. Once you overpopulated it, the people lose their freaking mind and to commit crimes and everything. This is all by design. The rich gets richer because why? They get to sell the products. They create a criminal-like system. They get to arrest people and put them in servitude. Yeah, it's reality, yo. This shit is reality. But the Lord's going to destroy this place. All right? The Lord's going to destroy this place. Matter of fact, we ended up on here. Isaiah 63. It says, who is this that cometh from Edom with thy garments? From Basra. This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. So let's go into this Basra, town in Edom, the sheepfold or fortress. So the Lord's coming to this fortress to destroy. All right. to destroy, to annihilate, to eviscerate. Okay, Edom and his strong cities. All right, I believe another precept today. Hold on, Salakia. Maybe he's in NLT, but I just want to make sure. Bum 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 bum. I know it's Edom. Now let's see if it says. Nah, maybe not. It says, "Wherefore art thou red in thy apparel, and a garment like him that trotteth the wine fat? I trotteth the wine fat alone. Of the people there was none with me." Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. It was David Psalms. He said, "Who shall lead me to the strong city?" Hold on, real quick. Come on, no better than that. Psalm 60 and 9. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? That strong city is America. All right. That's why when the Lord comes, real quick, Revelation, if I'm not mistaken, 9:11. There's another one. The 10 parts. Hold on. Strong city. Hold on. Let me see something. Revelations. Oh, yeah, I was right. uh, Revelation, I'll start at, I'm going to just read it through real quick and I'm going for it. And then on there. Revelation 11 and 8. Their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Talking about America, dead bodies represent what? Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are dead, spiritually dead. All right. Where also our Lord was crucified. The Lord was not crucified physically in America, but his image was crucified. All right. Everything about the Lord was watered down, whitewashed, and all that. It says, "And they of the people and the kindreds and the tongues and the nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half." The 3 days and a half was 350 years. All right. And it's talking about all nations. And shall not suffer them to die, suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, which means give them rest. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, which is talking about what? The transatlantic slave trade. They was happy, they was ecstatic that they took the Lord's people down. And shall send gifts one to another, which that's a proof, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth, which if you go to Jeremiah 15:33, it tells you, right? Judah and Israel were all pressed together. Okay. Now, if you go to in the past, which when you read further up, it shows you what? It shows you the great things that Israel have done, and the nations were jealous, and the nations knew their place. But when they had the opportunity to take us down, they did it, no problem. It says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, which started in the 1960s, Appa Bivens, all right, which legacy we follow to this day. Going out in the highways and byways, he taught us, all right. He didn't teach us. He was for us younger brothers. He didn't teach us physically, but he left a legacy that we follow to this day. And it says, And that spirit of life, which is what? The spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Holy Spirit. That's how we know who we are. It says, and they stood upon their feet. And the main thing about us, the Israelites, we knew we were a patriot. We're patriotic people. All right. Hey, our forefathers, right? So the man controls everything, not the way this devil done try to enforce into us. It says, and great fear fell upon them, which saw them, which is talking about the elites, right? And the lower elites. They see what we no longer settling to anything that they describe, they prescribe, so to speak. Okay? It says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying, come, saying unto them, come up hither, and they sent it up to heaven, which is talking about the deliverance. That's the only way you can be saved, is the Lord delivering, sending the chariots to deliver the elect. All right? To the heaven in a cloud, and the enemies beheld them. Here's the point. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. So America is nothing but a giant city. It's not a country, as people think it is. All right. And that's why what that great city Babylon. And you say that great nation or that great country speaks of America as a city. All right. This the oppressive city. So this city, the 10th part is what you could say that the zodiac. I mean not zodiac. Uh, FEMA regions, also the zip codes. Okay, all this is going to be destroyed in 1 hour. And all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says in 10 parts of the city in the earthquake were slain of men the 7,000, which means completion. And the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High of heaven. Yeah, which is talking about the elect being delivered. Our job right now is to be in order, the way the Lord has wanted to be established. All right, that's our job. So other than that, I'm going to say shalom to the elect of the nations. Shalom.